The Treasury Minister issues a warning to departments which failed to make the 5% savings as he paves the way for further cuts. We're going to read into this more from The Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Independent with the headline that the Treasury Minister issues a warning to departments which failed to make the 5% savings as he paves the way for further cuts. Darren Jones warns that Britain is long overdue a reckoning with government spending. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So as if the cutting back that they're already doing in departments, because obviously, you know, they need to make life more difficult for civil servants, they're looking to make even further cuts. And they are holding a lot of departments to ransom. With basically saying, if you guys want funding, you need to meet these targets. You really need to make these targets happen. And while I don't have too much of a problem with some cuts, because I do think in terms of departments, it's like them being able to do their job is the thing that I worry about. I'm worried about whether they'll be able to do their jobs more efficiently, and we know that they're going to be using more technology to try and help innovate their ways of working things. So that means less reliant on staff and more reliance on, I don't know, artificial intelligence to do their jobs for them, so that it becomes more of a cost-cutting effect for the government, which is why they're investing so much in they're looking to invest so much in artificial intelligence in the future. Hence why they're also looking to bring that in to the government app as well. And this will be something that the artificial intelligence will be pushing across all departments over time to use to help mitigate and reduce paperwork, reduce the needs for certain members of staff as well to run things on their behalf. This is the crux of where they will be going slowly over way. So unfortunately, this means basically people losing their jobs. That's the route that they're going down. But I really hate this premise that they will not that I've read in here that that unless you meet this 5% savings, you're not getting a single penny. It really is holding these departments to ransom. I understand that some of it there may be some justifying in it. Some people may disagree. To them, they see a justifying in it. I'm not saying it is right or wrong on this, and I don't call this austerity. I don't call this in particular austerity. What's happening here? But it definitely rings a tone of austerity, that's for sure, of what we've had for the last 14 years. But if it continues over the next couple of years by the Labour government, then obviously you can call it austerity because of how hard it's already been for departments. But I do see more of artificial intelligence playing a role in all departments for the government going forward as they slowly integrate it into the British government. So let's read a bit more into this. So the Treasury Minister, Darren Jones, has signalled further cuts as he told government departments that they must meet the minimum 5% savings target required before they receive any fresh funding. Giving a speech at the Institute of Government IFG annual conference on Tuesday, which saw him put his cabinet colleagues on notice over their department budgets, the Chief Secretary to the Treasury warned that Britain is long overdue the reckoning with government spending. Mr Jones is leading Labour's spending review, which will determine how much money departments will get over the coming years. He said he will adopt a zero-based approach that requires every pound the government spends to be fully justified. As if like people don't have it hard enough out there. He's a very nice man, isn't he? As a moderniser with an optimism about the future of Britain, I just do not accept the idea that we should just keep spending more and more for the money for continuing poor outcomes, Mr Jones added. Well, unfortunately, we had a different government in charge. We had incompetence. So as long as you have competent people, then that shouldn't be happening. There will always be the odd poor outcomes. Mistakes happen. We're humans. There's never perfectality in this. So to say that there will be no more poor outcomes is folly. There will be the odd one or two. But I expect this Labour government to reduce that. Taxpayers and the users of public service obviously deserve better. We therefore won't settle for doing things the same and hoping for a different result. We have to do things differently, and we will. I agree with that assessment. That is why funding from the Treasury to support new priorities will only be made available to departments that have first fulfilled the requirement of a zero-based review and met the minimum 5% savings and efficiency target required in this spending review process. Rachel Reeves this week told MPs that she expects to reveal multi-year spending plans for government departments in June. It comes after the Treasury previously acknowledged that the 5% saving target will mean difficult decisions. Spending review follows criticism of the previous government, which Labour accused the Conservatives of wasting taxpayer money and leaving a £22 billion black hole in last year's budget, something the opposition denies. Look, I'm not going to discuss the black hole. We've talked about it to the cows come home on that one. Public finances and balancing the books and whatnot. Economics is not my forte on that, so I'll let you guys in the comments decide whether or not it is justified or not on that. Mr. Jones also used these IFG address to outline plans to change the process of the spending review itself, saying he will move it from an analogue process involving letterheads and Excel spreadsheets to shared digital dashboards. Yeah. I still think that Excel spreadsheets and letterheads still important, but obviously moving towards more computerized and more technology, again, makes sense. It makes sense when you think about that. The government will use artificial intelligence, I told you about AI, to forecast the preventive benefits of policies, he said. Saying ministers will, for the first time, be asked to look at the long-term well-being impacts of departmental spending and putting data at the heart of this spending review. We will be able to properly link choices about what outcomes we are buying for each pound, understanding how spending on housing, transport, education can work together to drive growth in particular places and root out spending that isn't directly contributing to the priorities of government. This all, on paper, sounds really good. Sounds like a lot of common sense. Sounds like we're balancing the books, looking after our pennies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, on paper, it sounds good. If you read it and you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, yeah, that kind of sounds good, and whatnot. Oh, yeah. The average person on the street don't care. The average person on the street who is struggling to make ends meet. The average person on the street who are just trying to live their lives don't care about any of this. They want to see changes. They want to see their lives better off. Now, if all this works out within the next few years and we start to see people's lives improve, then hey, great. But if all this does is just drags on and on and on, and people do not see changes in their lives that benefit them, they do not feel that they are better off than they are now, later on, in a few years' time, then people are just going to say, well, I don't care. Who cares about, I don't care what's going on in government. My life hasn't gotten better. Nothing has changed for me. My life hasn't gotten improved. It's either been stagnated or it's gotten worse. Why should I vote for this Labour government? That's the crux of this. Now, all these things that they are doing, if it means saving more money for the taxpayer, if it means more money that Rachel Reeves gets to spend in budgets in the spring review and whatnot, then great. That's great. It means more money to be used. Then I'm all for that. And obviously, if it means more growth and all this kind of stuff, great. But again, if ordinary people are not feeling better off in the next few years, none of this is going to matter. And because it could all end up just being flipped on its head by, I don't know, another Conservative government. To say that the Conservatives can't come back in, I know it's highly unlikely given their situation. But things can change there. And it's highly unlikely that Reform will form the next government anyway. But you can't say never, and especially when there's rampant social medias out there who are hell bent on a certain social media platform with an insane leader who's looking to undermine the UK government every single term. There's going to be pressure ramped on them. But honestly, what do you guys think about these cuts? What do you think what Darren Jones has been saying here? Do you think this is justified? Do you actually think it will be more efficiency? And will it be the case that more money will be saved as a result? More money the money that will be spent will be more justified? Or is this totally unnecessary? Or do you agree that these changes are needed? Let me know your thoughts and more on this story down in the comments section below. Now, if you found this video informative or helpful to you in any way, shape or form, please hit that like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing as well, because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.